This is episode 28, Constant Elevation with the legendary brother Jay, X-Clan, Brooklyn, New York, Black Watch, and then myself, tomorrow, carrying the culture. We do this once a month. It's a great build. Topics related to hip-hop, life in general. We like to look at the big picture. We got Brooklyn in the building, both of y'all tonight.
That's right. Right.
All day.
Really excited, man. I'm yelling and screaming. We got my man, DJ Ace, newly retired NYPD lieutenant after 25 years, right?
26
years of service. Thank you for your service.
Thank you.
For your courage. And we've had you on the show before, but we're going to kind of dig into some other stuff now, man. So thank you very much.
Now I can talk a little more freely.
I've been waiting on it. So thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're gonna jump right into it, man. So like I said, you're known to the IG world and the world at large for your cutting and scratching and stuff like that, and being a police officer doing it. But brother Jay, why don't you share to the audience kind of some of the stuff we're gonna get into tonight? Because we're gonna stay away from the music. We're gonna get into some other stuff.
Yeah, man. I want to salute you first for that clip, brother. That cutting was sharp, man.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Especially coming from you. Appreciate it.
Man, that was on deck, man. I just wanted to build on today what the climate of New York has been from the time of the golden era to today. Weighing it to see if it's like, is it a better situation? Is it still the same? And basically, your opinion as an officer, you know what I'm saying? Taking care of our streets, really how deep the lyrics and stuff are affecting young heads. It's one thing to hear from the news, but for people who really are in the streets dealing with it every day, I would want to see what your vision was on that type of placement.
Right. So I'll tell you, everybody talks about each generation. In my opinion, this generation right now, they didn't grow up how we grew up. There's a lot of lack of respect, not only, for police, but for their own parents. So, and even some of the parents, they have no respect, and they're not teaching their kids. So that's a big problem right off the bat. Yeah. A lot of people, I got to get used to people calling me OG. But I'll say OGs, I got to embrace it at this point. A lot of the OGs that I came up with and I get a chance to meet, is none of that hostility. Mentally, everybody has grown. We're grown men. They don't even look at me as being a police officer. When I talk to them, I look them in their eye and we just have a conversation. So, as far as the OGs, we grew up with, there's no problem as far as that's concerned, like a big animosity right off the bat. But the younger generation, as soon as they see a uniform, animosity is problems, right? You don't even have to say anything to them. It's like, it's a problem. As soon as I see this cop, I got a problem with him, just that uniform.
Now, do you think that is because entertainment molds that stereotype around police from the movie?
Not only entertainment, but the media. The media plays a huge part in what's going on nowadays. And I can't even blame people for believing what they believe. Say you don't know any police officers, all you see is what you see on TV and what you hear in the music. Of course you're going to hate cops. You see cops, right at the works, right at the moment of arrest. You don't know what led to that point. You just see a cop getting physical with somebody. You're like, you know what? Fuck these guys. These guys are crap. They're out to hurt us. They're out to lock us up. And, no wonder they think what they think,
Right.
How have you combated that, over the years, man? I mean, you were on the show before. We talked a little bit about some of this stuff as far as community policing and stuff. And I'd like to know, what does community policing mean to you? Because it seems like every day you got up, you were fighting an uphill battle to do your job just because of the stereotypes about being a cop.
Right. So I'll give you a clear example. So I started working at the Barclays Center in 2012 when they first opened. Everybody hated us. You know, we'd look at somebody in their face and, hey, how you doing? They turn their head, they won't say nothing. One girl even had her brother. Her brother was killed by the police. She hated cops. So over the years, you know, they kept seeing us over and over. I say hi. We broke that issue. You know, now we're like family. We see these people, even the girl that had her brother killed. We're like family. So, you know, seeing somebody every day and reassuring them that you have their back. Even some people had personal issues that they felt comfortable coming to me or my guys and saying, listen, this is what I got going on. In your opinion, what do you think I should do? And after years and years of doing that, we're like family. They don't even look at us as being police officers anymore. So that right there is a prime example of community policing. You know, it's trust. I trust them, they trust me, and we can go from there. The biggest problem is trust. You know, people don't trust the police, and a lot of times the police don't trust people in the community. So once you get that trust, you know, it's a hard bond to break.
Now, how would police have that trust in today's market of hip hop? Because all of it basically has become like a gang language in New York. You know what I'm saying? The element is being misused.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Now, how would you be able to filter a good hip hop event if there was a peace concert going on or a self-destruction type of thing or whatever versus, you know, the hot rapper of today that's going to draw an ill crowd? How does the police kind of filter the kind of pressure to put on the crowd when events go down? How do they filter that out?
Yeah. So it's funny you say that. So while I was working at the arena, we got 2 shows going on. One show is like a 90s hip hop or, you know, something to that. Matter of fact, it was the MTV 50th anniversary.
Okay.
OGs to the hilt. Very little issues. Very little. Then you might have a Future concert, Bobby Shmurda or something to that effect. Tons and tons of issues right off the bat. A lot of the crowd that's coming to the show, they'll tell you, I have no tickets and I'm getting in the building. That's their mentality. I'm getting in the building. I don't care. I don't need tickets. Then the artists themselves, they have entourages. Even the artists can't control their own entourage. I won't say the name, but there was a particular artist. He straight up told us, he said, listen, these are my guys. We're getting in. But those guys back there, do what you got to do. He didn't want to be the bad guy, so he made us be the bad guy. So our issue right now, nowadays, is with the younger crowd. I really don't have an answer how, you know, we can make things better because, you know, that was an uphill battle. Working those concerts, I didn't look forward to it because it was just one thing after the other. This crowd is bum rushing the doors. These guys are trying to get backstage. These guys are fighting. It's just one thing after the other. So
yeah,
I didn't look at the Power 105 concerts. It was 3 of them in 2012, 13, and 14, and out of control. So, you know, that's definitely an issue with the young crowd. Like I was saying, if there was a set, it's over 30,000 police officers in New York City. So it's hard to have a set group of officers work the same thing over and over because that's how you build trust. You know, there's a group of officers in the intel division. Our nickname is the hip hop cops, but their real name is enterprise operation. Those guys are the backbone to what's going on in the streets. They're familiar with everybody, and all the hip hop, all the rappers are comfortable talking to them. So if there's any kind of beef in the industry, they get the heads up and say, listen, these 2 artists shouldn't be in the same building because it's going to be a problem. So those guys have a great rapport with all the young rappers. You know, they talk to them, they interact with them. There's none of that, no snitching kind of thing, you know, because they kind of, you know, want them there so they could stop the beef. You know, the whole issue is making money. Everybody wants to make money. You can't make money if somebody's trying to shoot you or there's violence in the place. So they want those guys, you know, as much as anybody.
Yeah, and that's a good topic. You man, I didn't mean to cut you, brother, but that's a great topic because why do you feel hip hop needs the kind of special forces that you speak of? I don't hear about these things with country music.
Yeah, you're right.
Or, you know, or jazz or whatever the case may be. But why is hip hop so powerful? Is it a weapon that's being used against us rather than, you know, opening the doors for the freedom of speech that we fought for so long? Is it, you know, is it closing the door for us as far as the respect is concerned by the way of the lyrics? Is it the lyrics? Is it the fact that they're hearing this negativity so much that they start to live it? What do you feel, in your opinion,
Well, if you
is the reason for the savage?
you look at the origins of the rappers, you know, where are these guys from? Not all rappers are from the street. You know, you have a lot of rappers that are from the suburbs, but a lot of rappers are from the streets, you
Right.
know, and it's hard to cut that off. Once you make it, it's hard to cut that off. And, you know, you might have beef with somebody from back in the day, or maybe the beef is squashed, but now they see you succeeding, and now the beef is back on because they're hating on you. You know, it's so many different factors involved. You know, hip hop is like a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it's worldwide. So
Yes.
it's a huge market. You know, as far as having its own, you know, police involved, it's weird. Like you say, you don't see this in country, you don't see this in jazz, you don't see it in other genres. But
That's right.
you got to look at where some of the rappers are from. You know, what were they doing before they were rappers? You know, what are they doing now that they're starting to make it? You know,
Right. And my main question is why they keep recruiting from those areas.
right?
You know what I'm saying? Why would you as a record label recruit someone that has issues? When they go to perform, their life isn't threatened. The more fame you throw on top of them, why would you go and keep hiring in those positions? Like,
Right.
you know,
Why would
it's
you
kind of
reward
backwards.
those guys? Reward them, you know, instead of the other guys. Right. I agree with that.
You know, that's an ongoing problem. You know what I'm saying? I work and develop artists, man, and it's, you know, the first thing, they don't think that fame is attainable by speaking peace. You know what I'm saying? You know, and this is something that some of these artists live all their life, but they started to give up because the industry was so much hiring the element that we're speaking of.
Right.
I believe everybody deserves an equal opportunity, but for the last 10 years, I don't see the balance. You know what I'm saying? You're recruiting people that have bodies, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
And feeling like, you know, they don't have to slow down. You just, you know, armed the terrorists. You know what I'm saying? Instead of hiring the people that are putting the peaceful vibe for them to come to a reform point, you're going to keep hiring the problem. You know what I'm saying? And that makes it hard on y'all protecting the venues. It makes it hard on peaceful people when we want to say something. We can't even say hip hop in the title because the insurance shoots up.
Right.
The need for security beefs up. Where we could just have a couple of cool cops who know the neighborhood. The fact that we say hip hop, they stress us to hire more security for the event because we put hip hop. If it's a peace concert or whatever, we don't even get the same love like a Greenpeace would throw something and have a couple of bands.
Right.
We don't get that same love. As soon as we say hip hop in our situation, it changes, and I'm mad that we are judged in that fashion. Everybody's not wearing the same, you know, type of code as far as using hip hop to deliver negative situation or gang code or language or whatever. You know, we shouldn't be judged in that fashion, good brother.
Let me ask you a
Right.
question.
I
Let
agree.
me ask both of you a question though. So, what do you say? Agree or disagree that? And you said touched on it earlier, Ace. Like, it seems like the violence, the competitive, the ultra competitive, the in-your-face bravado, the attitude has always kind of been. It's like it's been there in hip hop, and so I feel like we've kind of brought this on ourselves a little bit just because it's built into our culture, and I feel like we're having a hard time getting away from it. I mean, it's like hip hop equals violence. It's like they go hand in hand. I don't necessarily agree that it's true, but that's the connotation now, and I feel like we kind of brought that on ourselves. Maybe I'm being a product of the '90s. I don't know.
Well, that was one of the bullet points that I had, that the difference of now and yesterday, like say clubs like Latin Quarters, Union Square, stuff like that, there was always security problems. There's always a lot of dead bodies between the club and the train station, you know, just to get home because cats are coming fresh, you know, like Sunday morning church or something, you know, sheepskin, you know, your freshest outfit, whatever case may be. So you're going to get challenged. I think the ego of the past, you know, kind of made it like a death pattern or something, like, you know, like we enjoy getting, you know, into trouble when we go to celebrate hip hop. So the young generation, looking back, says that we're as bad as them as far as
It's
how
funny
we
you say that. I get invited to different parties, different events, and before I go anywhere, I got to figure out what am I gonna wear.
right.
Am I gonna wear a hoodie and regular dress down? Am I gonna wear my chain? Am I gonna wear my leather? You know, I think about it because I think of the worst case scenario. Am I gonna get robbed? Is somebody gonna try to test me here? You know, and everybody thinks about it. You know, unfortunately, I don't know why that's the case, but it's reality.
Yeah, man. I think there's a deep program, and then there's also receipts on how irresponsible our generation was back in the days. It wasn't like the golden era was like, you know, lollipops and candies and whatnot, man. You know, people were funding us. We really were small gangs in their minds coming from the neighborhoods and shit. You know what I'm saying? If you didn't have, you know, I was blessed to have a definition with my movement. You know, we were about protecting the streets so people knew what they were dealing with. But when you got a little crew from a different side of Brooklyn and you give them money to kind of employ the manpower that they need to make it look like my posse's bigger than whatever, that's like a challenge to other people's neighborhoods, especially when you start traveling and shit. So, you know, them looking back on how we came up with this, we were gangs to them when we appeared on these TV shows and things of that nature. So they just kept the template to say, yo, give us the bag. Let me take a couple people from our block and impose our will throughout the world and throughout these clubs and gatherings that we put together, man. I think that kind of weird perspective is going on, you know, with this hip hop, man, because they are studying the past history. You know what I'm saying? And these labels were funding people from the neighborhoods from a poverty standpoint. Right. You know what I'm saying? And with that comes the savage and the desperation. It's either you get more disciplined or you become more savage. And, you know, what's happening, like the anarchy that you're talking about, Ace, like, you know, these kids have totally no respect for any kind of authority. You know what I'm saying? If it be police, if it be parents or whatever, it used to be you can get the cool parent from the neighborhood to come and cool out a whole lot of beef. They'll fuck around now and shoot him.
Right.
You know, whoever that
There's
may
no
be. So
conduct anymore. Old ladies, kids, you know, parents, anybody can get it.
Like
there's no code.
Anybody. I don't care.
Anybody.
Real quick, I want to go back to something we were talking about earlier. Was you were talking about the hip hop cop unit, Ace, and because I wanted to get into like you were saying they know about the beefs in the streets and stuff. Like, how educated? Because it's, you know, New York it's New York. I mean, so I've seen videos of, you know, you DJ and New York cops b-boy, and you know, it's a diverse city. So like, how much educated are the cops about hip hop culture and stuff like that, or you know, like other than that unit? I mean, like, because
the regular cops.
It's faced everywhere.
You talking about the regular cops?
Yeah, it's regular cops in general. Like, is it a thing where it's like, you know, the uppers in the department are like, okay, look, this is part of New York City culture. You guys need to kind of understand this to be better cops to a certain extent. I mean, like,
yeah, you know, they teach you about culture, but as far as hip hop specifically, no. So you either, you know, street smart and you listen to the radio and you follow social media and you're up on who's who. Even myself, I'm not going to lie. Some of the new guys, and they were telling me they're coming to the arena. I'm like, who is that? I don't even know who it is. You know, some of the new guys, I'm up on the old school guys who I know and who I like. But some of the new guys, I really don't know myself. But, you know, a lot of guys are into the music and they do know who the artists are, especially the younger cops. But then there's some guys that are just not into that at all and they don't know anything about it.
So do you feel that these forces are created to monitor crime, or is it to is it a stereotype on just hip hop in general as a nigger thing?
We nicknamed it the hip hop cops because in the beginning there was a lot of issues with the rappers, but now it's the enterprise. So it's mostly hip hop, but it could be some R&B guys. Whoever in the industry has a beef and it could end up in violence. That's what they're concerned about. So no matter who it is, you know, in that world, they go to the after party after the concert and they heard this one is going to be there looking for this one. Their job is to squash the beef and prevent any violence before it occurs. It's not necessarily targeting, you know, black folks or whatever. It's
Right.
wherever the beef is. If there's any kind of turmoil going on where it can end the violence,
Right.
that's their job, is to put
And
it
that's their
into it.
prime. And that's their prime.
Right.
Focus.
Whenever they work with us, they would call us, you know, a week before the concert and be like, listen, these two guys had beef in the past. We haven't heard any intel about anything lately. There shouldn't be any problems. Or last week in California, this one shot at this one. So you better be on point. Have some guys posted here, have some guys posted here. So it's all about gathering the intelligence and being ready for any kind of problems before it happens.
Understood.
That's extremely fortunate.
Huh?
I mean, that has to be.
I know.
I mean, because I'm thinking like a Garth Brooks concert or something, and you like, yo, you know, Taylor Swift got the blicky on it, like,
Right.
I mean, or whatever. It's like,
Right.
it doesn't even make any sense to me, man. And I'm sorry if it's just.
No, you're right. Listen to this. Check out if this doesn't make any sense. I forget what school it was. Some school across the country banned backpacks because of school shootings. How can you not go to school with a backpack?
Oh, shit.
So in the times we living in, you know.
Wow. It is kind of savage, bro. So tell me this, as a DJ, when did you start cutting? Were you in any kind of DMC competition?
No, I never entered any kind of battle. So I tell this story all the time. I owe my DJ career to my boss, Chief Madry, and retired Detective Taylor. About 9 years ago, they put together a cops kids DJ battle. So everybody on the job knew that I DJ. They said, yo, you should get into it. So it was a battle where the cops couldn't win. You just showcase your skill, and the kids win all the prizes.
Right.
But the video from that event went viral, and I became what I am today. So I would still be like a bedroom DJ if it wasn't for that.
Isn't that amazing? We were talking about that. Like, I thought, because when I interviewed him a couple of years ago, I thought that like he was gonna have this story about like, yeah, I was doing all this, and I was a bedroom DJ,
And I was a happy bedroom DJ. I just came into the bedroom, practice, and just had fun. I had no intention on trying to, you know, go anywhere, do parties, show off. I just was having fun on my own.
Wow, that's really what it is. It's a stress reliever, man, for people who are into that.
Yeah,
you know,
big time.
It's big time, bro. It's big time. So what kind of music do you play on, you know, when you're doing your DJ bedroom situation? What music do you enjoy? Do you play the new music today? Do you stick to classics? What's your vibe?
I don't play the new music at all. I'm all about the classics, you know, the stuff we grew up on. I'm all about that for my personal benefit.
Right.
Parties is something different, but just for me, like in my car, I used to have an hour and change commute, and I just rock the 90s. I rock the underground stuff, Apathy, Vinnie Paz, all that kind of stuff. You know, the 90s, Nas, Rakim, you know, and that's what keeps me motivated, keeps me going.
So you don't feel that you're stopping evolution? DJs are the ones that kind of open people's minds to what's new. What's the difference of the old music to today's music?
You're right. So I was just talking about my own personal. For me, you know, I really don't even give the new stuff a chance. I probably should give it a chance. You know, there might be 1 or 2 songs that.
That's why I rock with you. That's why I rock. That's why.
If you ride in my car, you're never gonna hear that stuff. I'm not knocking it. I'm not knocking it.
I'm knocking
guys are great
for you. That's what.
And I respect.
So what's the feeling? What's the difference? What's the difference? What's the difference for the production of yesterday to today? What do you feel as a DJ? What do you feel the key difference is?
So I'm stuck on originality. And, you know, I used to look forward to the radio station and just hearing something that sounded totally different than what I heard last week. And hearing a new sample. You know, I know sampling is controversial. You know, you got to pay for sampling and all that. But I love sampling.
Right.
I think it's creative, and it flips the old music into something brand new. So the newer music doesn't deal with that whatsoever. The new music, a lot of it sounds the same to me. Sometimes I can't tell where one song ends and the new one begins. Lyrically, I'm all about the lyrics. You know, I love hearing some original lyrics that are witty. I love the stories, and you know, I know all the new stuff nowadays. You know, it's all about the party and
Right.
the catchy, you know, breaks or whatever. But you know, I just don't like it.
Now, you know, a lot of the sampling that we did, it taxed the golden era.
Yes.
All right. So we weren't allowed to get the big mansion and the cars and all of that because we was constantly paying all kinds of cats money off our projects. You might end up with a percentage of something that you wrote to a sample versus today where they're playing over samples, you know, playing over music. They kind of learn from our era not to get taxed. So
that's
we can't.
I give him respect for that, and
you know,
I totally understand.
You feel me? Because
yeah.
At some point you got to learn, you know, don't be a slave all the way. Now, we have a problem because of the jingle style of music that they make. You know, that's why I feel they get away with such nasty lyrics and stuff like that because they only want the hook and the beat itself. All right. So they did learn from us, don't sample because these cats will tax your life. So when you play that music over in these new kits, these new production kits, a lot of this music will sound the same. All right. There's only so far that you can go. So we can't bash them because they're learning from our era. The same way when we spoke about the violence, we can't say, well, your club is getting people killed when we were doing the same thing, killing cats over gold ropes and, you know, and sneakers and sheepskin coats and shit like that. We were killing people for stupid shit. You know, even then, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So I don't blame them as much. The only reason I'm saying this is because I had to start allowing myself to get in that world to see, you know, not only where the level of success was, but, you know, what is the attraction? You know what I'm saying? Is it the frequency I'm not hearing, like a dog whistle or some shit? Like, is it something that I'm not understanding, or language or code that I'm not understanding? I didn't see what it was, but I think that they looked at our generation and picked their battles as far as where the successes were going to lie. Like, we wouldn't sell ourselves and say, yeah, I'm going to get on a 360 deal and just make me do whatever it is for however long time period. Some of us had a little bit more morals on our shit, where they're saying, hey, I'm taking that check. I don't want to work. You know what I'm saying? I want a tattoo on my face and I don't want to work at the fast food spot or the post office or any of that kind of shit. Y'all can do that, but I'm not going to do that. So I feel a lot of the stuff that's going on with that generation is stemmed from us. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I don't celebrate the golden era and everybody in it because some of that shit was whack too.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And some of that shit was very whack, and the lyrics were kind of backwards. You know, when you go back, when you're a grown person and you go back on the lyrics and you listen, like, damn, I didn't even notice how goofy this shit was.
There was some stuff definitely like that. Absolutely. I said there was some stuff that was, I mean, in retrospect, that, you know, didn't hold up. I did a video recently that said, like, not everything in the 70s and 80s and 90s was dope. I mean, you know, we all took our losses. Hey, real quick before because it's almost 15 minutes before we got left.
Yeah.
I wanted to jump back real quick to this police thing just to ask. When the DJing took off for you, Ace, like you know, that's how I got to know you. I was like, who is this? Like, this cop, like, killing it. Like, what? Mm-hmm. And so when that took off for you, how did that impact your police career, and how did that impact your just even you being out in the streets? Did you find that you had a little more clout and more juice as far as like trust? Did you build a little bit more trust because you were DJing, or you know, with the community?
You know, social media is amazing. You know, your fans could be here in Brooklyn, or they could be in Japan, they could be in Germany. You know, there's people all over the world watching you. I didn't realize how many people actually watch this thing. They might not say a word, they might not like a thing, But if you see them in person, they're like, you know what? I follow you, man. I mess with you.
Right.
So as far as my police career, once my DJ career started taking off, everybody embraced me. The NYPD News, they did a piece on me, which in turn led Fox 5 to do a piece on me, and then Channel 2. And then my bosses, they realized, you know, what was going on, that I was basically doing two things. I was doing my patrol, I was working at the arena, and also I'm doing the community stuff. Anytime they needed a DJ, they used to hit me up. So it actually helped me out a lot. It actually helped me get a promotion.
Wow.
So I was already a lieutenant. There's another small promotion in between lieutenant and captain called lieutenant special assignment. It's you know, very political, and you're handpicked for it. You know, most lieutenants on patrol, which what I was, never gets it. But it actually helped me get that next promotion, which is the same as captain's pay. So if I'm a lieutenant, I get the pay of a captain.
That's
so
deep.
yeah. So for my police career, the DJing helped me out tremendously.
Power
In the
hip
streets,
hop, man.
yeah,
Power hip hop is deep, bro.
it's big.
That's
It's
some
big.
heavy shit.
In the streets, you know, it might stop a job. I get a 911 call. We respond, hey, what's going on, guys? How could I help you? Yo, I know you. I know it. And it just stops the whole 911 call right there. And we start talking about that. Then we get back to the issue at hand. So it kind of eases the tension. Or I might be in the middle of cuffing somebody driving by. Yo, Ace, what up? Yo, what up? And it has happened.
Hey, but that's dope. I mean, when the power of hip hop is in the right hands, that's a good thing. You know, I think that's kind of part of this discussion, that we're all disappointed that it's not, the baton is not in the right hands with this. You know what I'm saying? When the generation before us gave us breaks and stuff to cut and music to listen to for us to understand feel good music and things of that nature. You know, it was generations caring for each other, but now there's such a gap between our generation and what's happening right now. You know, I constantly try to find ways to create a bridge. It's nothing to mend. It's just a bridge that needs to be, you know, fixed so we can trust when we go back and forth on it. You know what I'm saying? There's just no trust, like you spoke on earlier. The trust, that's what counts. You know,
Trust is key.
Trust is key, my Lord. I say that with you, man. It's like it's so hard to get that on a nationwide scale, more so than a global stage, because, like you said, that internet, you got fans in Russia, you got fans in Japan, you got people going through what we're talking about in different countries because it's not being reported correctly.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
The media
doesn't put it down
pick
right.
and choose their stories, right? The media pick. I don't know who controls the media, right? They pick and choose the stories, right? And it just riles people up instead of bringing them together. You know, why don't you see infomercials how to interact with the police? You know, before I forget, I don't know if you guys can see this. Can you guys see this? Can you guys see?
Yes,
See
I
that?
can.
Yeah.
So this book was given to me when I was a kid. I got to try to get it back out somehow. It's called The Little Black Book. I'm just going to read you two things out of here. It's basically a book that was given to teenagers on how to interact with the police. And this is what I grew up on, and this is what I teach my kids. Rule number one, right? Rule number one. If you are hailed by the police, do not run. That's like common sense, right? But it's not common sense for a lot of people.
No, it's not. It's not.
That's right.
Here's another one. When you are approached by the police, do not take this time to try to prove your manhood, right? That's not the time to prove I'm tougher than you. That's not the time to prove I know the law more than you, right? You know, you're not going to win in the street. I tell people all the time, you're not going to win in the street. I don't care how big you are. I don't care how strong you are. Even if you take the cop down for that 1 second, eventually you're going to lose, you know, so don't do it. You know, if you want to survive and you want your kids to get home safe and you yourself, you know, this is what needs to be taught, how to interact with the police. You're not changing police tactics. They're always going to say, get your hands out your pockets. Let me see. They're always going to say that, you know, and you're not changing the police tactics. But what you can change is how your kid interacts with the police. All right. You know, say, you know, there's a guy with 2 kilos of coke in his trunk. You better believe he's going to be the most courteous guy on the planet. How you doing, officer? I understand you're doing your job, no problem, you know, because you don't want to get caught. You know, sometimes that's a little key for us when somebody's being too polite. But if they're being polite, what can you do? If you don't have nothing on them, see you later. Have a good day. But if you start off, what the fuck you pulling me over for? You got nothing better to do? Fuck you. Blah, 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 blah. That cop is going to go all out on you. Let me run his name. Let me see if he has warrants. Let me run his tag. Let me do this. You know, why put yourself through that for nothing, you know?
So let me ask, man, because it seems like, so what you just said seems like it's common sense. There's a Chris Rock skit on it called like how not to get your ass beat by the, and it's like details that, it's funny, but it details that bullet point by bullet point, and it's correct. I've gotten caught with stuff back in the day. Nice, didn't put up. I'm caught. Where you got weed? Yes, it's right there. You can go get it. It's, you know, and they're like, oh, thanks. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So
most cops don't want any problems. They just want to go home.
But it seems like, though, there's an arrogance there amongst the person who's, you know, who's being caught with something, where it's like, because that's all common sense. But why the hell do we do that though? Like, why do like, if you caught, why are you cursing out the dude, spitting in his face, if you're cuffed and about, you know? I don't understand, man.
I don't either. Well, nowadays it's a big show. Nowadays, everybody, when I say everybody, puts on a show in the street. Oh, I can't breathe. Get off me. The minute we get back to the precinct, they're regular.
Wow. That's crazy.
But they're programmed. They want people to whip out a camera probably right there.
Right. Yeah. Right. Well, I mean, that's what they're programmed to do, man. They're programmed through the entertainment and everything. You know, they look at the TV to understand how to handle a situation. You know what I'm saying? And most times people are over challenging the situation. You know, some people are intimidated by power or authority.
It is intimidating. You know I get intimidated myself. I try not to get pulled over, but occasionally I do. And I get intimidated myself. You know, I go out of my way to make sure there's no problems. You know, I know what they're looking for. So I turn the lights on, have my hand on the wheel, have my eye. So there's no issue. So I know people are scared and nervous, you know, which, you know, you probably should be, you know. I get nervous too.
Yeah, because everybody's not everybody, man. It's hard to
and there are jerk cops. I'll tell you right now, there are some jerk cops, you know. It's like I said, it's over 30,000, maybe even 40. I don't even know what the numbers are now. And that's just New York City. So to eliminate jerks out of a police force, it's impossible. Even your own job where you work, there's jerks, you know. There's no way to eliminate it, you know. Some guys are power hungry. They want to show off. They don't know how to act, you know. I had another interview when I was teaching the young rookies. You don't have to be tough, you know. There's a time to be tough. But right at the gate, you don't have to be tough, you know, just be regular, you know. How you doing, sir? You ran that light back there. Can I see your license, reg, and insurance? And then you go from there. That's it.
Yeah.
Right. Real quick, does the department, like, how do they look at the whole us versus them mentality? My aunt was a cop in LA for 25 years, and she was just saying that, like, you know, it's such an us versus them mentality from her perspective as an officer. I mean, is there anything that can be done to trust, to kind of help bridge that gap to where it's not like where cops aren't looking at the community as just criminals off the jump?
Well, they have a whole community affairs bureau, right? The chief I was talking about, Chief Madry, he was in charge of that at one point in time. He's the chief of the entire department now, which he's a great guy. You guys need to look him up. He is like, he's me times 100.
What's his name?
Chief Madry, Maddrey. Very nice guy, very community oriented. He's a DJ also. Right. And he puts together all kind of events with the community, and but they have a whole bureau, and they have different events, giveaways, prom giveaways, suits, dresses. They have parties, they have baby showers. So they have all kind of community events that help try to bridge the gap. But the city is so big, you know, for that one little group of people that we, you know, change their opinion, there's a whole other vast amount of people that we didn't, you know. The city is so big, you know, but, you know, the department is trying, you know, they are trying.
Yeah. Yes, man. Understood on that.
Yeah, that's
wow.
And that's heavy duty stuff, man. What's next in retirement for you, man? Listen, I think I'm more happy for you than you are for you, because that's how much I hate my job. So like no, it's just like I'm happy to see you young, healthy, and going to live your life. So what's next coming up for you, man? What do you got going
Yeah.
on?
So over the years, I did a lot of sacrificing. My kids basically grew up without me, even though I'm here. I kind of was not here. So now I'm gonna spend a lot of time, especially with my little son. He's 13. Definitely DJing more. Definitely hitting the gym crazy. I've been hitting the gym like 2-3 times a day now.
Nice.
I want to learn another language, and just do everything that I've always put off. But definitely way more music. I'm gonna be DJing more. I'm gonna get my website going. Way more mixtapes. I'm gonna try to get the LL thing going, to Rock the Bells. And you name it, wherever the DJing takes me.
Did you get the I think I saw something. It was like I heard you doing a class or something like that.
Oh yeah. So me, it used to be DJ Caleb Boss from EPND. He's now DJ 4-5, and DJ Earns. He's down with Funk Flex. So it's really 4-5's baby, but we're gonna join him into teaching the folks whatever they want to learn. Because people have been hitting me up for the longest about teaching them about DJing, but I haven't had the time. So now I have some time to dedicate it. So I'm looking at Tuesdays around 8. 4-5 is going to kick it off. Then I'm going to start some shows, and then Earns.
Oh, man. That's powerful, brother. That's gonna
I told you he was super dope, Brother Jay. I said this cat is ill.
You said that, brother. You said that, man.
This cat is something else, man. And I always said protect DJ Ace. He's a national treasure, because you can go into both worlds. Like you're respected in both worlds. Like I see you with it's great seeing you in uniform with like Rakim, LL, like
these guys are gentlemen. I don't fan out. I try not to fan out. I always try to be professional, even though inside I'm going crazy. Inside I'm like a little kid. But these guys walk past me, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? And we just start kicking it, and then I bring up the DJing thing, and that's it. That's all she wrote. Oh, you know what was my in with a lot of guys? I could talk about it now. If you ever come to the arena and you ever need anything, hit me up. I'm always here. So once you get a pass like that,
That's right. The
you're
Barclays.
gonna stay cool.
play that Barclays card.
Right.
That's right. That's right. That's right.
Nah, that's dope, man. That's dope.
Class act, man. Indeed, brother.
Where do you think, before we get out of here, man, like, what do you think's next? It's a broad question, but where do you think rap music, hip hop goes, the genre of music goes from here? Like where is it going? Do you think it's? Because I mean, sometimes I'm positive and sometimes I'm not. Like, I mean, where are you?
I know where I would like it to go. I don't know where it's actually going, because the music that we have now, I didn't really see it coming at all. When I was in the Marines back in the day, and I was proud to be from New York. Every time something came on the radio, I'm like, yeah, you hear that? That's Wu-Tang. That's Biggie. That's this. Yeah. But now I don't really know where artists is from when I hear it. So,
wow.
I don't know where hip hop is going. But we'll see. Whoever controls these radio stations and the record companies, they kind of control the narrative. What's hot? I'm going to push this down your throat. And now this is going to be hot. So, I don't know.
So where would you have it?
Where would I have
it if it was in your control?
So I would definitely push. Director. If I was a program director, I would definitely push more originality, more lyrics, bring lyrics back, bring stories back. The party is great. The party stuff is great, but not everything needs to be party with the jingles and the hooks. Let's bring a little bit of the original hip hop back.
So give me 3 records that you feel would be solid right now in today's era.
Children's Story. I would love to hear that. Like, say you never heard it ever in your life, and you hear it now, that song will blow you away. You're like, man, that song is great.
All right, Children's Story, Slick Rick.
Maybe some Public Enemy. I'll say artists instead of songs. What else? That's a good question.
That's 2. You almost there.
Yeah, definitely Rakim. the classic dudes that just, you know, changed hip hop. You know, they came up with their own style and just changed things, you know.
So you feel artists like LL or you know, someone who had a lot of variety in his tank would be successful in today's era of music if they would have put an
nobody
album
ever
out.
heard LL, and then he came out today with those lyrics with no songs. Yeah, definitely.
Understood. That's deep.
Yeah.
I don't think this generation has the tolerance level for
So
even the
you know why
tempo
I
or the
said the
drum
same thing,
pattern.
but you know why I say it?
Yeah.
My sons, all right, they're young.
Right.
I got a 23-year-old
Right.
and a 13. They play this game. What's that game? GTA.
Right.
And these other games. They'll have some classic songs on there, and they'll be in my car, and they'll know it. And I'm like, wait, how you know that song?
Yeah,
And they'll like it.
Right.
They'll like it because they're exposed to it.
Right.
So I see what you're saying, but say we shoved it down their throat, like these guys do in the radio, say we shoved it down their throat every day, they would like it.
That's true.
Yeah, man, that's true. The 2K basketball and GTA has done a lot.
Yeah.
2K, I be like hearing
Pushing
93 till infinity. I'm like, what? Like,
Right.
Yeah. Because when they went all trap at one time, people frowned on that. You know, there was one of the 2Ks that was all trap. They didn't even have anything really mixing or whatever. But then they started adding some Gangstar, some Nas, and different things.
Right.
You know,
Say we control the
I
narrative.
encourage the lessons.
Say all of us control the narrative, right?
Yeah.
If we control the narrative, we would make it more variety. I wouldn't, you know, just totally dismiss the other stuff.
Right.
But I would at least throw some other stuff in there, you know?
Yeah, it is about the balance, man. I'm not for, you know, stomping on that generation because, like I said, we're responsible for a lot of what they go through. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But you know, but they shouldn't. The people who control the industry shouldn't shut us out from being a part of the stream of what's going on. You know what I'm saying? Right. I think that's where the disrespect of our generation comes from because they don't see us still thriving in the market. They see us excluded like we played out.
Right.
Very good. Right. You know what I'm saying? So I think there's a balance that needs to be had, man.
I agree.
We got to get ready to bounce. It's been an hour already.
That was quick, man.
Quick.
That was quick.
Been a pleasure. Been a pleasure, man.
It was great. I think we might have to do this again. There's some other things maybe we'll jump into. Man, thank you very much, Ace, for jumping on again. I mean, it's good talking to you.
Salute.
So, you know, again, congratulations on your retirement, man. Like, please, like you've earned it to be early. Like, so live your life. Man. Happy for you. Like, really, just want you to just, you know, keep rocking the hip hop and, you know. So,
thank you.
And, you know,
yes,
definitely.
Yeah, sure. Man, pleasure, man. Salute, man. I look forward, man.
Pleasure.
I'll reach out to you
guys
get
ever
some
need
work
anything,
in, man.
reach out.
Yeah, you got link up, you know what I'm saying? So, and salute to everybody joining in. We'll get this on our YouTube channel. This is episode 28, Constant Elevation. All 27 episodes are on our YouTube channel. We'll get this up. I'll tag you guys. You do the clip. You know how we do. And thanks again, Ace. Be safe out there. And Brother Jay, as always, we'll talk soon. And we'll be back here next month. Thank you.
Peace to the God.
Appreciate you.
Respect.
100.
Peace, family.